All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. God bless everybody in the name of Yeshua, Jesus the Messiah. I do pray everybody is super blessed in many ways as the Bitcoin price is getting a little tiny bit of a bounce. The question on everybody's mind right now is, well, is this a legit bounce or is this a dead cat bounce? And we did ask the poll, ask the chat, dead cat or legit, and it seems that 70% say this is a dead cat bounce. My goodness, that's pretty crazy. Well, we're gonna analyze this chart right now. We're gonna be analyzing the Bitcoin price right now. We're gonna be looking at the key levels, guys. Make sure to smash the likes as usual. If we can get 1,000 likes within the first half hour, we will be giving away 1,000 USDT. We got to give a major shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Pipsmade Simpo, who says dead cat. Shout out to Rich Sharma 1100. Come on, 386 people in the house and only 100 likes. Please hit the like, guys. Shout out to Daniel James 7004 Wars. How sad. Shout out to Keith Mitchell. Shout out to Tor ADR. Just like TOS, I skipped this disclaimer. Who reads disclaimers anyway? Shout out to Eddie, he says nice instrumental. Major shout out to Delmy Tree Cutter in the house. God bless you, my brother. Shout out to the Clip Colt. Shout out to my dog Cuckoo, who just pooped on the carpet. Shout out to Cuckoo the Poo Poo on the carpet, baby. Shout out to Preparing for War. Speaking to Bullish on Parade. Speaking to Preparing for War. God bless you guys both. Shout out to Gen R.O. Mena, who says smash the likes. Shout out to Dummy M1M. Shout out to J Wheels in the house. What is going on? Shout out to Fear God Only 777. God bless you. Shout out to Baru 7561 and C Train. Shout out to Corey Mac 207 and Eddie, who says Jason Casper looks like M Shadows. Interesting, man. Interesting. My mom is awesome. Don't talk about her like that. Says Fear God Only 777. Alright, y'all. Major shout out to R Pink. He says, when you see that 70% say something, you think it's probably going to do the opposite. That's a good point, my man. That is a really good point. Let's see. Shout out to RoyTX7ZX. And shout out to Daryl from New Zealand. Major shout out to Trade Loggercom and Josh AFC41. Bitcoin about to explode from a flag. Is this a bull flag or a bear flag? Major shout out to AZTV69420. Dead cat bounce. Dead cat bounce into new all-time highs. Leave them all sidelined. Higher, higher. Major shout out to Crypto Clown World TA77. And major shout out to that one guy at Lusoff 5584. TDK786J. Are you Val Venus in disguise? I don't know who Val Venus is, I'll be honest with you. Okay, your name is pronounced Henaro. Sorry, Henaro. It's really hard to read these with the YouTube because there's no spaces between the words. So, didn't know the G was a heh. Alright, you know, can't help it. Just a American guy over here. Alrighty, shout out to Agkata. What is your treadmill brand? It's no longer on the market, sadly. But it's just a cheap Amazon one, and that's what I recommend. My man Crypto Goods in the house. Big short on Zcash. What would I think, gun to head? Shout out to Crypto Scarface. Let's check out Zcash real quick for my man, my Crypto Goods. And see if I have a gun to the head bias here on Zcash. Well, let's see. What happened with Zcash? Did we take the high? We didn't take the high. Well, that's a bit sad. You're holding out for 401. I think you said, my Crypto Goods? 410? Yeah, I mean, I think 410 is a pretty good price to hold out to. The only thing I don't like about this right now is the fact that we didn't take the high, right? So, if we had taken the high, I'd say then we would expect to take the lows, right? But because we didn't take the high right now, there is the chance of consolidation like this, right? There's the chance of the triangle forming here, which, you know, is more likely if we don't take the high. And we are bouncing from the 786, 886 zone. But, gun to head. Let's see here. Let's go to the 4-hour. I really wish we had taken that high. It makes it more of a difficult question to answer, man, because, you know, I really would have liked to have taken that first high, or at least taken multiple highs up here. That would have been really nice. But I don't know where you're short from, but I'm assuming you're in a pretty good position probably, right? Because we did get like local swing failure patterns along the way. Like right here we got one, right here we got one, so I'm assuming you're probably in from one of these highs, in which case I hope you're locking in and take profit and letting the rest ride just in case. But shout out to my crypto goods in the house, as Bitcoin is currently getting a dead cat bounce. And you know what? It's funny because we are seeing, if we take a look at the fear and greed index, things are less fearful now that we're getting this little tiny bit of a bounce. And we have seen Bitcoin come up approximately since the low on Friday. We've seen a 10% move to the upside. Now, as we know, our major resistance, well, I should say this, we are currently right now rejecting from the first support resistance flip. So where we're currently finding resistance is literally if we look at the daily chart here, it's perfectly the back test of this blue hammer candle that we got on Tuesday, the 18th of November. We come up to back test that, and we're starting to get a move to the downside from this area. And objectively speaking here, guys, we are bouncing from a key support. So is there hope for a big blast to the upside? I say yes, there is hope for it. We need to see more things happen. We cannot be ultra confident in that right now. But the fact that we are bouncing from our last hope support between the 786 and the 886 on the macro time frame, this is the first sign of bullish hope. Yesterday, guys, we did confirm a hidden bullish divergence on the 2-day time frame. All right, we did confirm a big BitBoy green dot on the 2-day time frame, momentum wave below the April low momentum wave. All right, money flow about the same. This is our first sign of a bullish reversal, or at least some relief, because again, in general, the chart from the high time frames down does look way more bearish than bullish, but we have our first signs of some major pumpage coming on in. All right, if we take a look here, oh man, I hate when they get me with these fitness equipment advertisements. You know, I mean, I wouldn't be caught dead on this machine. I might be trans, non-carbon, binary, emission, gender, but I'm definitely not gay. But man, I really look at this 10% off. Oh man, they really know how to get me. The Economic Times. This is from yesterday. This is the article I really wanted to look at. Crypto market today. Bitcoin leads rebound. Altcoins rally during longer-term down run. I thought this was pretty interesting. Bitcoin's up about 2% on the day. It began recovering from our low on Friday. Several altcoins we're currently seeing outperforming Bitcoin. We're seeing SUI, Bonk get up more than 8% pumps. ETH is up almost 4%, outperforming Bitcoin pretty much double. This rebound is linked to a strong equity session. We've seen the NASDAQ, we've seen the stock market in general pump, which is helping crypto, of course. And what's interesting here is, you know, we do have to recognize the fact that if the Bitcoin price is going to hold this support and start to get some relief, if we continue to see altcoins outperform Bitcoin, I do think we could see some significant gains across the altcoins. All right, now this bounce right now is suggesting some relief buying or some short-term accumulation. I'd say this so far, what we have on the chart so far, is definitely not the sign of a full-blown reversal. At the very least, this is the sign of consolidation right now. Consolidation, I'd say we're probably going to be trading within this range that we had from February through April 2025 right now. Until we reclaim 91.2, I'd say 92,000. This is not a full-blown reversal. This is simply consolidation, either to give us a move down significantly, Or, you know, we might see an accumulation range form here, right? Where we basically form a little range, take the lows, and form that nice rounded bottom, okay? So I'd say this is a sign of relief into the market. Thus far, we cannot consider this more than a dead cat bounce, but it is the first sign for potentially more of a big pump coming up towards, I'd say $107,000 could be where we could hit this target, all right? Something else that I think is worth our attention is this here. Why is crypto going up today? XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin rebound from 6-month lows. All right, the crypto market cap rose 2.4% to 3.1 trillion as Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Dogecoin recover from Friday's lows. Fed rate cut odds surged to 82% for December, driving a crypto rally alongside BlackRock's ETH purchases and XRP ETF launches. So this is interesting. Remember, guys, yesterday, these numbers were quite a bit different right now. Right now, we're seeing 82%. People are thinking that the Fed is going to cut rates from where we're currently at, 375 to 400, down to 350 to 375 beats per second. Remember, the target rate is in beats per second, all right? You might say, why beats per second? Why not beats per minute? Well, look, when you're dealing with fiat currency and when you're devaluing the currency as quickly as the Federal Reserve does, you have to deal in beats per second. It's very fast. We also know that Jerome Powell is in fact a drummer for a grindcore band, which means he only plays blast beats, gravity blasts on the snare drum. And if you don't know what that is, then I guess your teenage years were really not so great, okay? Now, I think it's interesting, guys, that on November 24th, which was yesterday, spot Bitcoin ETFs experienced significant outflows. All right, so yesterday we saw about $151 million leave Bitcoin ETFs. But in contrast to this, we saw XRP get about $164 million. We saw the ETH ETF almost $100 million, and Solana about $60 million in inflows. This is very interesting. This pattern may suggest that investors are rotating out of Bitcoin and into altcoins potentially because of changing market sentiment. This article right here is raising a possibility of the beginning of altcoin season, although they do remain quite cautious. If you read through the whole analysis here, there is an analyst giving some pretty interesting analysis here. I mean, obviously we don't have time to get into it all, but I would say this, you know, this does kind of line up with the chart and one of the scenarios that we've been personally looking at here, which is this. You know, if Bitcoin can stay in this range, all right, if Bitcoin can stay in this range, and if we can get some serious relief here on Bitcoin, and we're seeing the total market cap for crypto increase, we're seeing Bitcoin dominance decrease, and we're seeing altcoin dominance increase, we could see some significant gains across the board for altcoins. I would not be surprised, guys, especially if Bitcoin starts to get a rally above 92,000 and we hold the value area low of this very macro range here. Okay, we're not that far away from doing so. If we do something like this, guys, right, we could see Bitcoin rally back up towards potentially, I mean, I know I said 107,000 because 107,000 is basically this very key level that has been respected as a support resistance flip going all the way back to December 2024. But I mean, you know, the reality is that the real technical target of this move back above 92 would be around $116,000 at the value area high of the range. If Bitcoin's staying within this range here, guys, that would allow altcoins to really rally. And when we take a look at coins like ETH, right, we have to recognize the fact that we're pretty beaten down, but the way that we came down was very sloppy. Sloppy. I mean, when we look at things like this, right, where we're seeing this disgusting price action here, no real market structure, right? This is the 2-day time frame. Disgusting. Lower highs. This is stop hunt city right here, man. This is short squeeze city right here. You cannot have this kind of parabolic move and not expect that we would squeeze this. I mean, if we were to turn this chart upside down, all right, when you see a parabola like this, you say to yourself, this is unsustainable. We need to get a move down. It's like what we saw in gold, right? What did we see on gold recently on the weekly time frame? We saw this crazy. What the heck? Oh, this is upside down. Yeah. What did we see on gold recently, right? We saw this crazy parabola like this, and we're saying, you know, we need to break this trend line and give all, you know, maybe all of that back, but obviously we didn't give all of it back, but you know, we did break that lower trend line here. In fact, let's actually draw it correctly, right? Because really it was more like this. Once we broke that trend line, I mean, we had a pretty significant drop to the downside there of about 11% on gold, right? We're seeing the opposite of that right now with ETH. And I say if we can close this weekly candle, we need to think to ourselves, hey, we're bouncing from the Fibonacci 618, the support resistance flip. Bitcoin is still in the range. And before we get into ETH, I do want to do some top-down analysis on Bitcoin because, again, yesterday we were looking at some unconfirmed signals, which today are confirmed, which in my opinion could lead to some significant relief, namely the weekly market cipher B. We're finally starting to see this yellow line tilt back toward the zero line. All right, if we go ahead and we change that into an area, this is starting to curve back to the upside. When this starts to curve back to the upside, that means we are close to printing a green dot. If we print a green dot on the weekly, it's going to be an oversold wave that we have not seen since the bottom of the bear market. It will also be a hidden bullish divergence. We go to our 3-day. We are right now potentially about to confirm within a day or two a green dot right here. I should say not confirm. We're about to print within a day or two a green dot, which then might confirm by the end of the week. If the 3-day confirms the green dot by the end of the week, a very oversold wave, negative 80. I mean, that, in my opinion, means we're going to get some significant upside. Does that mean we're going to continue in the uptrend? It doesn't mean that, but what it does mean is don't be surprised if we start to punish a lot of these shorts that had easy money along the way down, right? Don't be surprised if we squeeze them all and come back up potentially to $116,000, right? If that happens, we could really see money alternate from Bitcoin into altcoins and see some nice end of the year altcoin rallies. All right, this is our hope right now for the altcoin rally within the next month in December, okay? 2-day time frame, we have officially confirmed a hidden bullish divergence, big boy green dot. Daily time frame, we have ourselves obviously the confirmed bottom. It's not a hidden bullish divergence on the 2-day, but we are starting to see the money flow curve back to the upside. So what does this mean? Well, when we're drilling down to our daily time frame, now here's what it means. It means we are dealing with Bitcoin right now within the confines of what I would consider our sideways range to be, with our clearly defined high around $92,000, give or take. I'd consider it the value area low of this range, right, where historically was support flipping to resistance, right? That's going to be the top of our local range, and then the bottom of our local range is going to be right down here. This is the playground in which we have as traders to look for a setup. All right, these two areas here. We look at our 4-hour time frame. We're not seeing bearish divergences as we make this high. We're seeing money flow continue to the upside. So really what this means for me, guys, is this, right? We would be looking at our volume here. We would be looking at our Fibonacci's from here. Let's go ahead and put on our 618. And yeah, so really here's what we have here, guys. We have ourselves a local range in which to look for setups, right? We understand a reclaim of this is actually super bullish. And we also understand that this, however, is resistance where we could look for a short trade. We understand this down here now is going to be support. These are our highs and our lows. So if we were coming to the chart as traders, what would we be interested in? What would we be waiting for right now as traders? We would say, okay, the next potential short would be a move up to around $92,000 to potentially continue in a downtrend. right? The next big short opportunity would be coming up to around the back test of this support resistance split, which remember, this level goes back year, like a whole year, to December 2024. All right, so this is a very key level. Stop loss maybe above the $93,000 highs there. If we see a rejection from here, and then yeah, we could shoot for another low, in my opinion, below $74,000. Right? We could shoot for the actual low of the range from here. The other place I'd be interested in is, well, if the bottom's in, then right now we have ourselves a really nice potential setup here, coming down to the local Fibonacci golden pocket, right? Around $83.8 thousand, basically taking out some of this liquidity that we made here during the last few days, bouncing from the value area low of our local range and making another higher low, and then getting a move up to the macro POC, which is going to be coming in at around $96.3 thousand. And of course, the third trade that I'd be interested in is this, taking out the overall low of the range down here, and once again shooting for, well, first we could shoot for the top of our local sideways range, right? That's always should be a TP1, but then why not shoot for $96,000 as well, right? These would really be the three main trade setups that I would be looking at. And as we look at Market Cypher B here, we can see that if we are going to come and take $80,000 again, we are seeing the 4-hour money flow getting higher. We would probably see a momentum wave giving us this really nice rounded bottom here on Market Cypher. We're understanding this could be an accumulation range here. When I say accumulation range, I mean this could be a range where bigger players are looking to accumulate Bitcoin before pushing the price up, right? And so if you're forming a range, if you're speculating that people are accumulating here, we know big money wants to accumulate at the lowest price possible. So what better place to do that than take out the low? Remember, we have the 886 Fibonacci down below here. We also have some other high time frame levels down here. And then after we take out the low, we get a reclaim of that level with the bullish divergences on Market Cypher B, like we have right here. And then boom, that would be a beautiful long setup in my opinion, right? That would be a really nice long setup in my opinion. And then the opposite is true for the short trade, right? We start to see bearish divergences forming. We cannot reclaim 92,000. Then we would expect the downtrend to continue, right? The whole idea that this is a reversal kind of ends if we reject from here, right? We could very easily do that, right? We are in a very strong downtrend. But right now, this is kind of what I would be looking at. Now, if maybe we come back down to retest 83-ish, right? Take back some of this, because we do have this kind of pattern of the ascending channel, which a lot of times just leads to stop hunts, wreck everybody here, and then pump it, right? Those would be some of the trades that I'd be looking at locally here. Now, if we start to confirm, I'd say by the end of the week, a 3-day green dot, that is quite bullish. All right, I'd say that probably will lead to significant upside. And again, this is local stuff here. But if we're going to go back to the high time frames, our first major sign of strength here is going to have to be a reclaim of the value area low, right? So let's say we get a move up to 96, then we get the back test of 92. That also could potentially give us our trigger to get long if we get the back test and the reclaim, right? Stop loss, entry point, target up here, right? And once we get up there, obviously then we have to play it by ear and either open up a head short or take some significant profit on the long. Because obviously if we're reclaiming $116,000, new all-time highs are the most probable, right? But we need to take it level to level. The gateway to higher prices right now is coming back above this orange line here at around $91.3 thousand. Let's just make sure this is extended to the right. It is indeed. All right. So let's deal with Bitcoin. This is consolidation right now, where we can play the local range, looking for our local shorts and longs. And this is the time to get into your local trades. Like, this is the time to look for a short from here in case of massive dump. This is the time to look for a local long from here or a local long from here in case of big pump, right? We don't know what the price is going to do, but we have our environment right here to look for those trades that no matter what the market decides to do, we've got ourselves a position ready for dump or pump, right? That's what we should be doing right now as the market is consolidating, right? We should be looking at the local environment, sideways range here, saying, all right, where's the local trades to take in case of the big move, right? At least that's how I'm doing it right now. Again, I do just want to but I do just want to reiterate, I suppose, that the weekly momentum is so low here that it would be baffling to me if we don't see some kind of big relief coming in. If by the end of the week we have a green dot on the 3-day, I'd say we're probably going to get some significant relief soon. All right, very soon. Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited for a little bit of relief here. Let's take a quick look at Ethereum now. Again, ETH is holding the $2,700 level, right? And we are indeed getting a little bit of a bounce from here as well. This is our 3-day time frame. Look at our 3-day candle. Let's go to our weekly candles here. Look at the weekly candle, potentially, you know, also going to confirm a green dot within maybe 2 weeks. That's going to put us at December 8th, 2025. And so, yeah, then we could see some significant relief on ETH too. Now, here's the thing about ETH. I'd say ETH is much more squeezable, short squeezable than Bitcoin is. If Bitcoin's going to really get a move back towards 116,000, I'd say I would be very confident that I could finally hit my bullish target on ETH at about 5,500 at least. Also, guys, we have to recognize this could be the coveted introverted head and shoulder pattern right here, right? This could be the coveted introverted head and shoulders pattern. And really, if we're going to look at this as an introverted head and shoulders pattern, then our technical target would be, based on the breakout of this, right around a $8,000 ETH, man. And I'm not saying that's going to happen for sure, but that would be the technical target of the breakout of this introverted head and shoulder pattern, you know? And so, yeah, things to keep our eyes on right now. Things to keep our eyes on right now. If Bitcoin holds support, that's setting us up for a potential alt season here. Speaking of this, let's look at Bitcoin dominance. BTC.D is continuing down. All right, this is good. This is good, guys. In the context of Bitcoin getting a little bit of a bounce right now, the fact that Bitcoin has come up 10% and we're seeing Bitcoin dominance drop, that's good. That is good. Why is that good? It means Bitcoin is holding support, getting moved to the upside. Money is coming into crypto, and yet money is leaving Bitcoin into other assets. This is showing us strength in the altcoins. And we've seen the altcoins outperform Bitcoin, all right? We're seeing altcoins outperform Bitcoin right now, right? Bitcoin saw $151 million in outflows. XRP, Solana, ETH, seeing hundreds of millions of dollars coming in. Now, of course, this is not actual asset. This is the ETF or however that works. They're linked, right? But this could lead to some local gains in the crypto markets. Now, let's check out the total three. This is essentially the altcoin dominance here. You can see we've had a fake out of this descending channel, and now we're back inside. And depending on how you want to draw this, you could even say that we are breaking back into and back testing this trend line with a pretty nice looking hidden bullish divergence here on the daily, right? A nice bottom here. Momentum wave lower than our June low. Momentum wave lower than our April low. Things are setting up nicely here for some potential altcoin gains. Now, am I saying we're going to have blow off tops and crazy? I can't say that yet. But things are looking nice for some altcoin gains here. Maybe we'd want to be looking for maybe some long positions on these alts, because it looks like we have some bullishness brewing here for the altcoins, right? Bitcoin's holding support, getting a move up. Total crypto market cap is pumping. Money's coming out of Bitcoin into alts. Altcoin dominance pumping, baby. Not looking the worst. All right, it's definitely not looking the worst. And Bitcoin currently is trying to flirt with the level that we have over here. All right, guys, we are going to have some Black Friday sales. All right, for VIP and courses, just in case people are wondering. But you can see the importance of the level that Bitcoin's trying to reclaim right now from the trade short setup we gave in real time in the Casper crew, JasonCasperTrading.com, best Discord in the world. Also, if you want to trade Bitcoin and altcoins, KCEX has the lowest fees. I'm also trading on WEEX and BLOFIN and ZOOMEX. And also, guys, if you know how to trade but you have no money, I am partnered with Klein Funding, a crypto prop firm, which isn't loading right now. But I have 15 and 25% discount codes on those funded accounts if you're interested. All right. Alrighty. Let's see who we got in the chat before we move on to some other analysis. We have to give a major shout to our super chat. Shout out to my man Crypto Crank. Guys, make sure to go subscribe to Crypto Crank. He did a killer video yesterday breaking down alt Bitcoin pairs. They are looking great. That's awesome, man. I'm fasting for the Thursday's dinner. You're not gonna eat on Thanksgiving. Can we please look at XRP? Yeah, we will take a look at XRP. Guys, make sure to go subscribe to Crypto Crank on YouTube. All right. We got to give a major shout to our super chat, Crypto Crank. He says, "Shout out to the Casper crew, you the man. Crypto Crank is the man, bro. We're gonna do a collaboration here. Whoa, I have a furry creature. Coming on my desk here. Let's see who else we got in here. Shout out to Benjamin2042. Let's take a look at XRP. All right, well, we're going to start XRP on our weekly time frame here. And I would say we, technically speaking, have, we'll put it on log scale, okay? Technically speaking, if we're going to take it from this last big low before the impulse, we technically do have a hidden bullish divergence now on the weekly time frame, which is a continuation pattern. We are holding the range, all right? $1.60 is obviously very important support. If we ignore the October 10th wick, we are currently trading within a sideways range. We have taken the highs of the range. The question is, are we going to come back down to here basically to revisit this low before we print that bullish divergence, right? That's really what I'd say is the main question, because this wick, I'd say, doesn't really count. But if we ignore the wick and we put on a line chart, again, this is the weekly time frame, right? Then what do we see? Well, we do see this kind of easy to squeeze pattern here as well, right? We're seeing this on a lot of altcoins. We've had a slow, painful grind to the downside basically since July. And yeah, this would be quite easy to squeeze if we're only looking at the line chart and we're ignoring the wicks, right? Well, in that case, look at this. We're back down at support. We hit it once, twice, three times. It's our fourth time tap. We go to our 3-day time frame here, and we are confirming in 1 day and 7 hours a green dot on the 3-day time frame. Big dot oversold, -71. This could lead to some significant squeezing, right? Potentially to a new high. Again, remember, things look super bearish in general, but we're seeing a lot of these assets just simply within these confined ranges here. And so even if high time frames look bearish, there's still room for us to continue to trade the range, right? If this, let's assume this is a major top for XRP. I'm not saying it is, but let's assume this is a major top, right? It doesn't matter if we stay in this range for a little bit longer. It's still the top, right? Like that's what a lot of people don't understand, right? They're like, oh, it's the top. Oh no, and then guess what? Oh, you were wrong. It wasn't the top, right? Oh, I guess it was. And then, oh, you were wrong. It wasn't the top, but guess what? It actually was. Like it takes just a long time sometimes for these things to play out, right? So I'd say we could see potentially a $4 XRP if we start to squeeze this. And again, you know, the altcoin dominance is looking good right now. The Bitcoin dominance is also looking good. You know, Crypto Crank, he was looking at some altcoin Bitcoin pairs, and I think I'm going to do that too. I do want to take a look at some of these assets as they are against Bitcoin, because here are the ingredients that we need for an altcoin season. First of all, we need Bitcoin not to be dumping. It needs to be holding support, which it currently is. It's holding support. It's trading within a sideways range between, let's say, 74,000 and 126,000, which I know is a massive $50,000 range, but nonetheless, it doesn't matter. The fact is, it's still range bound, and so if it's holding support at the bottom of the range and getting some relief here, and we are seeing money come into crypto, which we are, and yet at the same time we're seeing these altcoins really outperforming Bitcoin, it's going to lead to some serious altcoin gains. Hang on, I dropped mine. Give me 1 second here. Wait, never mind. Don't give me 1 second. I have what I need. So yeah, let's quickly take a look at let's take a quick look at the Bitcoin ETH pair. ETH against Bitcoin. So, you know what's quite interesting about the ETH Bitcoin pair is this, guys. This is, once again, our 3-day time frame. We are seeing right now some bullish div forming on the 3-day. We've had a big impulse to the upside, officially changing market structure from this long bearish trend that we've been in since January 2022. And this is actually pretty significant, guys. Since January 2022, we have not seen Ethereum against Bitcoin change market structure until just recently, right? It's pretty significant, I would say. What I'd say this means is we have a legitimate change in market structure. We have a continuation wave forming here. As long as we're going to hold 3,000 Satoshis, right? That is pretty bullish, right? Let's check out our weekly time frame. I have it on the line chart to ignore some of this noise. The weekly time frame, guys, we are seeing something that we haven't seen since, I'd say, March 2020, which is the weekly money flow starting to curve back to the upside, man. I thought, actually, I'm not gonna lie, I thought we were seeing that here. We were seeing it back in April 24. It was looking pretty nice. It was looking like back in April 24 we were gonna dip below the value area high and get a bounce. Obviously, what happens is we actually dip below, and instead of back testing, we reject again. But now we have confirmation of a bullish trend, weekly money flow coming up. Look at this. The momentum on Market Cipher B was in this downtrend going all the way back to 2020. We have a big breakout of that Market Cipher B momentum. All right, don't discount momentum breakouts on the Market Cipher B oscillator. They on the high time frames, they really do show major signs of strength here. So it does look like Ethereum is poised to really outperform Bitcoin, and we've seen an outperformance of Bitcoin since April, pretty much, of about 128%, right? Let's check out XRP against Bitcoin. All right, this is Ripple against Bitcoin. I know people hate it when I call it Ripple, but look, I'm old school. I'm a boomer. Boomers call XRP Ripple, all right? Boomers call XRP Ripple. So we've been confined within this sideways range for quite some time. This is XRP against Bitcoin, really since 2020. Isn't that pretty crazy? That is pretty crazy. We've been through some significant bull and bear markets without much here. But we do have this big impulse to the upside after forming a bullish divergence here on the weekly. So the last time we formed a bull div on the weekly was down here in the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, leading right into that last big altcoin season that we had in the winter spring of 2021. And notice that we have taken out these highs, right? So this is a significant, and this is a line chart, so this is clearing out all the noise. We don't have wicks here. This is just where the candle body's closed, okay? We have a bullish divergence right down here, all right? Right here, bull div, higher high, higher low, a big impulse to the upside. Trigger waves, money flow looking like she wants to cross. I would say, let's go ahead and look at the volume here. Wow, wow. Okay, so we are right at the value area high of this range. You know, a move above here and a back test of this could really symbol a big outperformance of XRP against the Bitcoin, where we could see one XRP be worth, you know, I guess 17,000 Satoshis. We could see an increase of about, to those all-time highs, maybe 400%. That would be pretty crazy. Now, I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen here. But if we come back to our previous all-time highs, yeah. Now, this was in a much different market context. In 2017, man, if you guys remember how crazy some of those altcoin gains were back then, man, it was quite insane. I remember sitting in my father-in-law's basement feeling like a genius back in those days, man. Sheesh. If only I had the capital back in those days that I have now. That'd be crazy. But I didn't have. That was my first market cycle back then. That was my first crypto market cycle. I was just dipping my toes in. I was just a minnow out there. All right. But yeah, very significant for the XRP against Bitcoin. And again, the reason why we're looking at these coins against Bitcoin is because if we're seeing the total crypto market cap increase, and we're seeing Bitcoin dominance decrease, we're trying to see what coins are going to really outperform Bitcoin. Because think of it this way. If money's not leaving Bitcoin, right? Or should I say, if the Bitcoin price is stable, and it's not dumping, but it's holding support, and money's coming into crypto, but it's not going into Bitcoin, it's going to be going into these alts, right? And so we can predict the outperformance by looking at some of these charts. Let's take a look at Chainlink against Bitcoin. Wow. I feel like we're in a bear market in general. This is like what the USDT pairs look like in bear markets, right? All right, we have some bull dip forming here, nothing too crazy. But I'd say also, this is log scale, by the way. We do have a pretty clear trend line right here on log, right? That has 1, 2, 3, 4 taps. So this does look kind of like a bull flag, I ain't gonna lie. Right? Let's see what we would be looking at here if we were to break out of this. I mean, we could be looking to come back up to 83.76 if this thing breaks out. That's a 400% gain against Bitcoin. Man, we could really see, I mean, there's definitely a lot of upside potential here, obviously, since we haven't seen any kind of altcoin season. If we're going to see altcoins rally, I mean, I'm not saying we're going to hit these moonshot targets here, but, you know, we start to break out of this trend line, and that is a major sign of strength. Right, breaking out of this trend line here is a major sign of strength for the Chainlink Bitcoin pair, for sure. We got to give a major shout to my man, Crypto Crank. Yeah, he's right. Okay, so everyone in the chat, please understand, Bitcoin does not need to put in a new all-time high to have an alt season. Pay attention to the Bitcoin pairs. AVAX, Link, Cardano look awful. Yeah, so we don't need to put in a Bitcoin all-time high to see altcoins pump. We simply just need Bitcoin to hold support, right? And not be dumping. We need to see crypto market cap increase, Bitcoin dominance decrease. That's pretty much the ingredients that we need here. Shouts to everyone in the chat right now. Shouts to everyone in the chat right now. Make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell. Let's see who we got in here. Happy Thanksgiving, fam. Alt season was 24, bro, but love the hopium. Yeah, I mean, alt season was 24. I'm not necessarily looking for a blow off top alt season here, John Ploney. I'm looking just for some gains in general. Yes, I will have Black Friday discounts. All right. What if money goes into real things and not alts? It could, but like, here's the thing. That's why we have the charts, right? I mean, if we're seeing total crypto market cap go up, Bitcoin dominance is going down. The only thing it can go down into is alts, right? It's not the Bitcoin dominance is not showing us all the markets. It's not like the stock market, the real estate market, gold, silver. No, it's just showing us crypto. Bitcoin's dominance in the crypto market. You know. All right, let's take a look at some of these others that my man Crypto Crank is looking at. Your first Jason Casper live, I did the pump song and a freestyle. I miss those days, man. I miss those days of being able to sing the pump song and doing a freestyle. All right, so Solana. That's true. It can go down into stables as well. Yeah, that's for sure true as well. That's true. That's true. All right, let's take a look here at the Sol versus Bitcoin chart. First thing we notice here is a bit of a triangle right here, give or take. Okay, so what we got here? This is the weekly. We've got our support resistance flip right here. We have a nice looking bottom, I'd say, potentially. Let's pull our fib from low to high. Bouncing right from the 786 right now. We've got a bullish divergence followed by a trigger wave here. So I see what you mean, Crypto Crank. We've got ourselves a nice looking bottom here with a change of market structure on the weekly, bouncing right now from the Fibonacci retracement, which could continue this uptrend, which would probably take us, in my opinion, to test the trend line again and probably take out these highs, because these are looking just ultra squeezable right now. It is looking quite good right now on the weekly time frame, right, with the bull div down here and then the trigger wave, very similar to what we saw over here. Bull div and then the trigger wave, bam. You know, we got a bull div, trigger wave, bam. Could be pretty nice. Maybe we could see it outperform Bitcoin by 100%. And I see that's not a moonshot target like some of these other ones. That's pretty conservative in my view. My very first like with Jason, he was wearing a snowman cap and the camera was zoomed in on his face. I don't even remember that, actually. But shout out to Preparing for War. Shout out to Batty ZZ. Do I like Hedera as a project? I'll be honest with you, Lucky Block 2015. I don't really know. All right, I'm not very knowledgeable in Hedera. All right, so I don't really know. I can only look at the chart. Do we do eggs? Yes, today we do eggs, guys. I'm sorry for saying doo-doo, but yeah, the egg code is okra. Okra like the vegetable, right? You're trying to get some eggs in the Casper crew for cash giveaways. It's okra, all right, right here on the screen. Okra. Good old okra. That's a vegetable. My mom hates okra. She hates okra so much. She hates it so much because when she was pregnant with me, it's the first time she tried okra, and someone gave her like a pickled piece and it was like slimy and gross, and it made her like super nauseous. And so that was it. She was done with okra. She was done with okra. Shout out to Batty ZZ. Oprah. Yeah, shout out to Oprah. You have a picture of the snow cap saved somewhere? What snow cap are we talking about, man? I don't even remember that. Hope you guys are doing something fun on Thanksgiving. I know some people don't do anything, and that's totally cool. If there's one good thing about Thanksgiving is this. You can go to any Thanksgiving dinner and eat a healthy meal, all right? You don't have to be worried. If you're a healthy eater, you don't have to be worried on Thanksgiving that there's not going to be healthy food there. There's going to be lean protein. It's going to be lean protein, and there's going to be vegetables, right? Of course, there's going to be a lot of crap there too, but you can always feel good heading out to Thanksgiving, right? I'm pretty much loading on my plate with vegetables. If they happen to have baked potatoes, which they usually don't, you know, that'd be nice. But man, the lean meat, all you can eat lean meat, baby. Some vegetables, and you know, mashed potatoes ain't that bad. If they got real butter and real cream, I'd say that's some pretty good eating right there. That's some pretty good eating right there on Thanksgiving. You're thankful every day, not just one day a year? I'm thankful every day except Thanksgiving. On Thanksgiving, I'm not thankful at all. I'm walking around very entitled. I deserve turkey and mashed potatoes and gravy, and if I don't get what I want, I'm gonna throw a tantrum. Very ungrateful on Thanksgiving. The turkey's a little dry. Spit it out. Throw it in the cook's face. The heck do you call this? Call this a turkey? But every other day of the year, I'm very thankful. All right. Same with like Valentine's Day. I love my wife on every day except Valentine's Day. You know, Valentine's Day. Nah. Nope. We don't love each other on that day. Do I pay attention to macro at all, or just the technicals? It seems everyone's split between TA, liquidity, macro, 4-year cycle. Yeah, I mean, I pay attention to all of it. So primarily, I myself am like a day trader. I'd consider myself that. I've become more of a swing trader lately. I'm still, look, the 4-year cycle, I'm still obviously very much aware of it. We're recognizing the pullbacks happening right on schedule. Look, all those things are tied together. All right, they're all tied together. Here's the thing about analysis. You have to understand limitless vision. When it comes to analysis, there's so much information out there. What you need to do is you need to figure out what works for you, right? So this rectangle right here represents all the things you could look at. On-chain analytics, liquidity, like all the different tools and indicators and things you could be looking at, right? I guarantee that there are very few, if any, people that are successful making money by looking at all of this at the same time, right? Instead, you got to find the little area within this rectangle that you can find where you now are able to extract money from the market, right? Now, here's the thing. Let's say this is TA for you, right? This is TA. You're in here in the TA circle. Well, guess what? The TA circle overlaps with other circles. All right? They're all overlapping, right? We're all looking at the same thing. We're all looking at the same rectangle, but it's all overlapping. Liquidity is part of TA. I mean, it is a technical indicator. You're looking at actual money coming into the market. That is a technical indicator, right? But maybe liquidity people aren't looking at the chart like you are, right? So you're looking at the chart, you're looking at liquidity, you're looking at open interest, right? But you're doing it from a chart-centric perspective. Well, maybe they're not, right? So everyone is looking at the same thing, but you have to understand that people are looking at it from a different perspective, and maybe they might have a focus in a different area because that's what has worked for them, right? So it can seem overwhelming if you're kind of like just getting into that stuff, but at the end of the day, you have to understand that the chart is going to tell you the same thing that all this other stuff is going to tell you, right? The chart is going to tell you the same thing, right? This big move to the downside on Bitcoin and crypto in general, the chart told us, right? The chart told us it was going to happen, right? When we hit that all-time high on October 6th, my exact words were, I would not be surprised if the top was in, all right? As we were in September, heading up to that high, I'm like, things are looking really bearish. Things are looking really bearish. Things are looking really bearish, right? I've got the receipts. Somewhere. What I wanted to see, and I'll tell you why. All right, the monthly chart right now, it's about to confirm another drive of bearish divergence. I'm just being real. I'm gonna be real this stream. I'm gonna get some haters. I don't care. Here we are at the all-time high. I would not be surprised if the top is in, okay? What we do not want to do is close a candle below 124.5. The question here is, are we bullish or are we bearish? The end is for sure near of this bull run. Right? The chart told us all that. Then, you know, you got the liquidity, you got the ETF outflows, got decrease of open interest happening, all that other stuff, right? So you got to pick what you want to look at there, right? That's my view, at least. Was it loud? I'm so sorry. Dang. I guess I'm not a DJ. Do I believe the bottom is in? I don't believe that the bottom is in. All right. I don't believe the bottom is in. I still believe the top is in. All right. I could be way wrong on that, but all things considered here, all things considered, we're looking at the line chart, right? We flipped market structure bearish on the weekly. We have a 2-month bearish divergence confirmed, 2-week looking bearish, 1 week looking bearish. I think the top is in, and again, that could mean that we range here for a little bit, but in general, I think we look back and say the top is in. Just like in April 2021, the top was definitely in. We did range here for a little bit, but the top was in, right? The top was in. We didn't get that big move up to 98,000 that everyone's looking for. I don't think we have enough right now to get that move to 150K like everyone's looking for. Like, I don't think so. I think we need to cool down a little bit more. I don't think we can have a confirmed 2-month bear div, which every time is marked the top, and not see consolidation and downside, right? In the best case scenario, I'd say we continue to range here for a long time. If the 4-year cycle, 70% corrections are over, it might look more like this, with the dip down to like the 60s. If the market cycle's not over, then I'd say we could really see something more drastic, like this, coming down to the 40s, right? But yeah, I don't think that the bottom is in yet. I think it's just starting here. That's my personal view. All right, Zalt is my personal view. What was the egg code? It was okra. All right, sorry about the loud noise, guys. Man, I didn't mean to do that, so I'm real sorry about you for that, guys. Are we pumping right now? Let's check it out. Nah, we're not really. We're not really. We are not really. All right. Yeah, okra, that's the code. All right, guys, I think I'm going to head it out. It's been a good stream. It's been a great stream. God bless everybody in here. Make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell. God bless everyone in the name of Jesus, Yeshua the Messiah. Not sure if I'll be live tomorrow. Is tomorrow Thanksgiving? No, tomorrow's Wednesday. I have been off all week. I thought it was Wednesday yesterday. Anyway, God bless you guys. Peace.